Let's talk about manifestation today. And one of my favorite techniques, something that I personally do to manifest with success every single time. It is something so easy, so basic, so uncomplicated that you may not actually try it, but I guarantee you if you do, your life will change. And it will change for the better, and you will never look back. So my name is Veronica, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am someone who transformed their entire life with the use of the law of attraction, conscious manifesting. Manifestation is my greatest friend because it helped transform my life entirely. I was someone that used to work 3 jobs, that had a love life that was non-existent. Someone who was in pain every single day because I felt like such an utter failure. Now I work for myself. I have an amazing boyfriend, soon to be husband, who adores me. I get to set my own hours. I get to do my own thing. I get to travel the world. I get to have love, peace, harmony in every single day, every single moment. Now, had you looked at my life before, there would have been nothing to suggest that my life could have changed for the better. It was a conscious choice on my part to start doing techniques like I'm going to explain in this video, to start embracing this idea of conscious manifestation, and to take hold of my life and to deliberately change it for the better. I know you can do the same. Again, this is a technique that personally works for me, and it works for me on a day-to-day basis. It's how I continue to manifest the life of my dreams. So basically, this technique that I'm talking about is practicing mindfulness. Now, the reason why this is the single best thing that you can do to manifest is because it's so potent, it's so powerful, it's so easy. It's so gentle. The reason why gentle techniques work better is because they cause less resistance inside of you. Resistance is that feeling of the ego showing up and telling you, no, you can't have this. No, it isn't possible. The ego likes to bully you. It likes to keep you stuck in the lack of this world. We're having a human experience, and humans like to suffer. They like to be victims. The ego loves to be in this place. Resistance is the ego's best friend because it can latch on to you. Practicing mindfulness allows you to connect with your higher self. Your higher self is that creative force within you. It is called the universe. You can call it God, whatever you like. But the higher self is the one that knows that you are not just a body on this earth meant to suffer. The higher self knows that you are something much greater, divine, creative, abundant. And when you practice mindfulness, you basically challenge the ego voice in a very gentle level. You are sort of identifying your limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are the things that hold us back. It's how I changed my life for the better. I was full of limiting beliefs that would play on repeat every single day, every single moment, to such a degree that I didn't even notice them anymore. They would play so seamlessly because they had been repeating for so many years that, it's like when you take your commute to work, and maybe you've done it so many times that on some days you don't even remember driving the route because it's so secondhand nature that you're just so used to doing it that you can just do it without even realizing that you're doing it. It's sort of like how you memorize a piece on the piano or on a musical instrument, or how you memorize anything. It becomes such second nature that you can do it without much awareness. And this is what limiting beliefs do. They latch onto you. In the beginning, you know they're a new thing, but then you start repeating them to such a degree that they become a part of you. And practicing mindfulness challenges these limiting beliefs or the ego voice, and it challenges their existence. And it is the first step in breaking free from them. Breaking free from limiting beliefs is not about when a limiting belief comes in, you replace it with a positive belief. The reason why I say not to do this, and the reason why this never worked for me, is because the limiting belief will feel more real than the new positive one that you are trying to implement. Repeating 3 positive statements to try to erase a negative statement will never work. The only thing that will work is gently challenging the limiting belief, being aware of it, recognizing it. Again, this is what mindfulness is. You recognize it and you sort of realize that there can be an alternative. You don't chime in and replace it with a positive one. You just challenge it gently. You recognize it and you let it go away on its own. Because we are divine creative beings. We are abundance, so therefore the lack is a lie. So if you notice it's a lie you've been telling yourself, then it has to go away on its own. It has to, because it's not who you are. Who you are at your default state is abundance. It's beauty, it's love, it's light, it's brilliance. So all that other muck just has to fade away. But you have to recognize it first, and that's what manifestation is about. It's about recognizing these limiting beliefs, gently challenging them. And once we can sort of wipe the slate clean, that's when we start implementing the positive ones. But if we take a bold approach that allows for sort of trying to knock down the negative beliefs with more positive ones, we're just going to create chaos. We're going to create an inner sense of just sort of a war within you. And you will never wipe the slate clean. You will never free yourself from the limiting beliefs. And this probably is something that you're struggling with right now in those stubborn parts of your life that don't seem to want to manifest for the better. It's not that you can't manifest them. It's not that you can't change your life for the better. It's just that you've been going about it wrong. You've been going about it in a way that is probably a lot more complicated than what I've been speaking of. And we tend to think the more complicated and the more exhausting the route is, the better it is, the more effective it is. Almost like you have to be in pain in order to succeed. Like no pain, no gain. That's not true at all. The only way to succeed is the gentle approach, letting it leave on its own. You are abundance, so it has to leave, like it can't stay. But recognizing it, being aware of its presence, as I spoke of before, we tend to get in this autopilot state where we are repeating these limiting beliefs so much that we don't even realize we're doing it. So being mindful and saying, wow, that voice is there and that voice is talking to me, but it's been doing it for so long that I didn't even recognize it was there. Now, a great way to let these limiting beliefs surface is to start identifying new things that you want. And I want you to go big. I don't want you to base your desires on what you think could be possible. Because if you do that, you're going to be limiting yourself. And you're never going to fully free yourself from these limiting beliefs. Because you're going to be thinking in terms of restriction. So think about your love life. Your perfect relationship, not who you think you can settle for, or not who you think you want back because your ego got bruised. None of that. But what is your ideal perfect relationship? What does this person look like, act like? How do they treat you in your perfect world? Your perfect idea of bliss. How does this happen? What kind of job would you be working in your perfect scenario? Not what you think you could be qualified to get, or not what your training is in, but what do you actually want to be doing with your life to earn an income? What about your social scene? How you want to be seen in the eyes of others? How you want your body to look? The type of health you have? All of these things. Don't limit it based on previous experience, what you think could be possible for a kind of person like you. No more limitations. What do you actually want? What are you afraid to ask for because the limiting beliefs, the ego voice has been so bold and so strong before in the past that it's bullied you into thinking you can't have these things. You can have the world. There's nothing off limits to you. What do you actually want for you? Now, once you start being bold and actually letting yourself explore these ideas without fear of disappointment, without fear of rejection, without fear of anything, once you start opening your heart up towards the expansion of, wow, this could actually happen, the voice of limitations, the ego voice, is going to start trying to pull you back down. And this is where the mindfulness comes in. You're going to gently take note of what this voice tells you. Most likely it will make fun of you. It will be like, why do you think you could have that? Or you're not the kind of person that has that. You don't deserve that. You're not pretty enough for that. You're not smart enough for that. There isn't a way to have that. It's going to just chime in and say all sorts of different things. Instead of being afraid of this voice or thinking that you have to clear it out once it emerges, I don't want you to do any of those things. I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to think your manifestation is failing because you're supposed to only have good thoughts about your desire. That's not how manifestation works. That's not how I changed my life for the better. That's not how it works. How it works is by gently listening to this voice, listening to what it has to say. And remember, as I said earlier, we're going to challenge this voice, and not in a bold way like we're combating it, like we're ready to beat it up or kick it out or clear it or erase it or replace it with positivity. Don't do any of that. Simply listen to it, recognize it. Just give it a moment to speak. The reason why I don't want you to suppress it is because we're trying to be mindful of when it arises so that we can gently question it so that then it's less likely to appear again. So in this moment when it comes into your mind, because it will, limiting beliefs are always going to come in. You gently recognize it like, ooh, wow, that voice tried to bring me down. You just stay very calm. You don't think that you're a failure because you had a negative thought or a fear or a limiting belief. You just kind of recognize it. And then you just breathe a sigh of relief. And then you just go about your day. And you try to feel peaceful regardless. It's going to go away on its own. If you can sort of keep your cool, continue to practice mindfulness, continue to recognize it, because if we're not recognizing it, then it's just going to be playing on repeat in the background. It's going to constantly be there on repeat, going through the motions. We have to be aware of it. We have to just take a pause, like, well, that was interesting, but I'm not negatively fueled by this. I'm not engaging in it. I'm not going to cry my eyes out because the ego voice said I couldn't have something. The ego voice is always going to say you can't have something. That's what the ego does. The ego is like, that person at the party that you had to invite. You didn't really want them there, but you were obligated to invite them because they, for whatever reason, have to be there. But they don't have anything good to say. They don't have anything good to contribute. Their jokes aren't funny. Like, nothing about them is worthwhile. That's what I like to compare the ego to, or the limiting beliefs. Like, manifestation is not about freeing yourself from all limiting beliefs. It's about choosing to not put your faith in them anymore so they can freely leave. And you won't manifest when you are free from limiting beliefs. You will just manifest when you are no longer putting your faith in the limiting beliefs. And that's when your life changes. And your life will change in little bits. It will speed up and change a lot at once. But it will change because you are no longer the same. You are no longer the same inside. You're different. So the life around you has to be different. It has to adapt to the new you, to the new set of beliefs, to the new expansion that you are creating in your mind. And it's really as simple as that. It's how I was able to transcend the awful life that I was living, the life of despair, the life of no opportunities, the life of suffering. You may be suffering right now, and I'm here to tell you that there's an answer. There is a way out. You are not destined to have the short end of the stick. You are not destined to have the kind of life that displeases you, or you are not destined to never live out your dreams. You have these desires for a reason. They're placed in your heart for a reason. There's a reason why you have this idea of bliss, of what the perfect life looks like, the perfect relationship, the perfect family situation, the perfect job, the perfect income, the perfect body, the dream home, the dream location you want to live in. Pick based on your true happiness and start practicing mindfulness. And like I said, it will change. Now, if you need more help on this topic, I do offer a variety of courses and some one-on-one coaching. And you can find that at my website, dreamlifebyveronica.com. I want to encourage you to reach all of your goals, all of your dreams. I want you to get there. I want you to transform your life like I have transformed my own. If this video could help, leave a comment below. Help others as questions arise. I will be answering as many questions as possible too. I love to talk to you. I love hearing your feedback. And please subscribe if you haven't already. It would mean the world to me if you would help support videos like these and help support my channel. Have an amazing rest of your day, and may all of your dreams come true.